press record. Thank you, Amy. There we go. Appreciate you. See, that's why I need you, Amy. Okay, there we go. Now we can start, now that it's being recorded. Okay, so oils and emotions. So this is a very interesting statistic here, or numbers. 87 to 93% of disease comes from our thought life. What does that mean? Well, thoughts become emotions, and then our emotions become attitude, right? So however you're feeling, if you're sad, you're angry, well then, in your mind, if that's what you're thinking, that's also outwardly how you're going to react. So our attitude is our reaction and all of our daily reactions, which make up our lifestyle. When you think, you build thoughts, and these become physical substances in your brain. So 87 to 93%, we're going to use this statistic a bit throughout the class, but disease comes to our thought. How is that possible? Well, it all boils down to two kinds of emotions. There are positive and negative emotions. Positive are love-based emotions, and then negative are fear-based emotions. So let's talk a bit about love-based emotions. What kind of emotions are those? Well, our happy emotions, right? Love, joy, faith, trust, inner strength, confidence, all the ones that we see here: self-appreciation, respect, acceptance, peace, everything that makes you feel calm and happy. Those are your emotions when you feel love. However, your fear-based emotions include fear, anger, disgust, worry, anxiety, frustration, resentment, ill will, blame, sadness, jealousy, negativity, and stress is also included in emotion. So the reason why it's important to identify what kind of emotion you're feeling is because, as I mentioned briefly before I hit record, but your emotions are actually stored in your body. We're going to see where different emotions are stored and then how that relates to essential oils a little bit later. We are wired for love, though. So fear is a learned and not a natural response, which I thought when I heard that, I thought that was very interesting. If it's something you learn, well, then what does that mean? You can also unlearn it, right? You can also change the way your brain thinks and reacts to things so that you're not reacting in a negative way. So fear-based emotions are connected to toxic attitudes and toxic responses in the body. So this is a topic I'm very kind of passionate about, and I find super interesting. If you want to take a screenshot of this or of any of the slides, please feel free to do so. They're stored in different parts of the body, again. So where are these emotions stored? Anger and rage is stored in your liver and gallbladder. Fear and worry is stored in your kidneys. Grief, inner crying is stored in the lungs. And I have a quick little story about that. So beginning of the pandemic, we lost, my uncle passed away unexpectedly. And it was something that hit our whole family very hard. So a few weeks later, I got this really large acne pimple on my face. It was on my cheek, and it was one of those that grow from the inside out. So it was very painful. It was big, it hurt, and it was not going away. So I had learned a little bit about face mapping. I don't know if you've heard of face mapping, but it kind of tells you, like, depending on where you have acne on your body, a lot of times it has to do with an organ, like something that is not functioning correctly. Like they say around your mouth, if you have acne on your chin, it's usually hormones. So I didn't know where this cheek thing came into place. So anyhow, I looked it up and I saw that it was lungs. It came from the lungs. And I'm like, lungs? I was like, I'm not sick. I don't have bronchitis. I don't have any breathing issues. Like, why lungs? Like, what's wrong with my lungs? So I came upon this post of emotions stored in the body the same day. I don't know how they both happened at the same time. I was doing the research and I saw this post, and it said that grief is stored in the lungs. So what is a coincidence? that my uncle had just passed. We were grieving, stored in the lungs. And how did it come out? From my cheek, acne on my cheek. So your body really does store your emotions, and then it comes out in different ways. It could come out the way you react to things, but it can also come out in, remember we talked about that statistic with disease, right? It can come out through acne. It can come out through so many different ways. Like for instance, so sadness stored in the pancreas, kidney stones, revenge. It's from revenge. So if you are dealing with an issue where you have that feeling of revenge inside you, maybe look into, if you have kidney stones, could that some way be linked and worked on? Stress, lack of joy is stored in your heart. So do you ever feel when you're very stressed or you just feel very emotional that you have a lack of joy, like your heart is heavy? That's where it comes from. Unforgiving is stored in the liver. So another way to understand this is if you've ever done acupuncture or ever do acupuncture in the future, you'll find that a lot of times where they put the needles, it'll be on those organs, right? Your liver, your kidney. And sometimes they'll ask, are you worrying a lot? And it's like, well, yeah, I am. Okay, well, then that's why your kidney's having issues. So it's so incredible the way our emotions really do affect our bodies. Okay, so what does this all mean? We must take care of our emotional health in order to take care of our physical health. Mind and body are very connected. And I feel like it's something that is being talked about a little bit more now, but I know growing up, it was not something that we really ever talked about, right? Emotions is like, well, get over it, but have more faith, get over it. And yeah, you need to have your faith and there's things that you need to cultivate there. However, emotions are huge. And many of us have gone through traumatic experiences in our lives. That is stored in your body. So now you have these other physical issues coming up and you wonder why. Well, where did this come from? It's stored in your body. Literally, it's accumulating. So let's talk a little bit of scientific facts. We have a part of our brain called the limbic system, which is referred to as the emotional brain. So within your limbic system, there's something called the amygdala, and that's where we process our emotions through the amygdala, the emotional brain. Our five senses, sight, touch, taste, hearing, and smell. Smell is the only one that activates your limbic system, your emotional part of the brain. So that's one reason why aromatherapy or smelling, breathing in these oils is so powerful, because you are activating your limbic system. And you can do it by diffusing oils. You can breathe in oils. We like to do what's called a scent tent, where you put a drop of oil in your hand, cup your nose and your mouth and inhale, and then breathe out. Inhale and breathe out a few times. And that's called a scent tent. And what that does is that opens up your amygdala and helps process your emotions in a healthy way, because there are ways to process emotions and it's not very healthy as well. This is done in a way that's easy on your body. So let's talk about these cells. We're made up of, obviously, an insane amount of cells. So our cells, just like our brain, have memory. So we have the power to make the memories positive or negative. That's another story. And if you ever have heard of AFT, aroma freedom technique, it is an extremely powerful way of helping you rewrite your memories. Not that it eliminates memories, but it helps you process them in the way through smelling of the oils. It changes that thought of negative to either positive or neutral. If you want to know a little bit more about aromatherapy, I have quite a few friends that do this type of therapy or technique. It's life-changing. It was life-changing for me. But it makes a lot more sense when you do it and you realize how they both play on each other. So the nucleus, which lives inside the cell, is the thinker. It tells the cell what to do, and it's where DNA is produced. So there's a doctor called Dr. Caroline Leaf, and she mentioned the research shows that DNA actually changes shape according to our thoughts.
Expect where you should be paying attention. Okay.
Okay. And as you think those negative thoughts about the future, week ahead, what a person might say or do, even the absence of concrete stimulus, that toxic thinking will change your brain wiring in a negative direction and throw your mind and body into stress. So I think through the pandemic, maybe meeting with people or gathering with people could have felt very stressful, especially in the beginning, maybe even still now for some, but it's the stress of, oh, am I going to be awkward? Am I going to know what to say? Are they going to like me? Are they going to, think I'm too much? Are they going to think, I don't talk enough? It's like all of this stress that you cause when it doesn't have to be that way, but we cause our own stress sometimes because of overthinking, but we can rewire our brains. So it's pretty incredible, right? To understand how our brains, our emotions, and smell can really, really change negative to positive thinking. So information must go through the cell into the nucleus so that it says it's communicating and keeps working properly. How does the information pass through? Through what's called receptor sites. But listen to this, negative or fear-based emotions damage receptor sites in your cells. Negative or fear-based emotions damage receptor sites in your cells. So we have heard maybe of chemical toxins, right? So we're trying to stay away now from processed foods, from the GMOs, obviously smoking, beauty products, cleaning products, all these things that we know are causing toxic stress to our bodies. But emotions cause chemical toxins and block those receptor sites. That's what fear-based emotions do to us. So it's just as damaging a lot of times as eating something processed or eating GMOs. And when the receptor sites are blocked, our cells don't get the information they need. That's when disease takes hold of our body. So if our brain is no longer communicating, hey, this is no good for you, eliminate this. If that is being blocked, of course, our bodies are going to react to that. So going back to that number, so 87 to 93% of disease comes from our thought life. So what does this have to do with oils? Essential oils are made up of different constituents. There's monoterpenes, sesquiterpenes, and phenols. Let's talk about what this actually means now. They're sciencey words, obviously, and if you're not into science, as I am not great at science, might not understand what these mean. So we're going to explain it. What do phenols do? They clean and repair our receptor sites. So that means that the damage that our fear-based emotions have caused can be cleaned and repaired by using essential oils. So think of it kind of like a broom, right? You're sweeping away the dirt. That's what phenols can do. They clean, repair those receptor sites. And here are some oils that are high in phenols. So you have your clove, acacia, basil, cinnamon bark, oregano, anise, peppermint. So if you're needing help with eliminating and cleaning that up, these are great essential oils that you can use for that. What are sesquiterpenes? They bring oxygen into your brain. So this helps your amygdala, that's your emotion process center of your brain, right? The amygdala, to work the way it should. So when you're using your essential oils for emotional health, which as we now understand really is our overall health, 87 to 93% of disease comes through our thought, life, emotions. What do we look for? Oils that are high in sesquiterpenes. So what kind of oils are these? Cedarwood, vetiver, spikenard, sandalwood. Sorry. There we go. Okay. Sandalwood, black pepper, patchouli, myrrh, ginger, frankincense, lavender. So if you've ever smelled any of these and used any of these in your aromatherapy diffuser, sometimes you'll feel that you go almost naturally, like your body almost asks sometimes for a certain essential oil and you don't know why, but you're just like, man, I feel like I really need to smell frankincense today. Or I really feel like I need to smell clove today. And you don't know why, but your body is asking for it. Well, it's probably because it's dealing with some type of big emotion that is going to help either clean or bring oxygen to your brain. Your body literally tells you what it needs. It's pretty fascinating. So how about monoterpenes? Monoterpenes have many healing properties, but the most important job of monoterpenes is that they reprogram miswritten information in the cellular memory. So when the coding in our DNA isn't what it needs to be, cells malfunction, disease results. Okay, we don't want that. Monoterpenes help our DNA to get the right coding. That's pretty mind-blowing. So what oils are high in monoterpenes? Lemon, lime, orange, bergamot, which is our oil that we've been doing for a challenge this month using bergamot, grapefruit, tangerine. So citrus oils are known as happy oils. They give you happy emotions. So bergamot was chosen this month because a lot of times people go through the winter blues, right? Sometimes there's depression, there's, just sadness. It's gray, it's cold. You can't have that sun, the vitamin D the way you did. So that's when you look a lot of times to your citrus oils, and bergamot being one of them is why we're using it this month. So oils and frequency. This might sound a little strange, what do you mean frequency? But it's an actual real, there's scientific facts that back oils and frequency. Everything has a frequency. So when someone enters a room, you can feel it. That's the energy of the person. What does that mean? Well, have you ever heard or said before, like, yeah, you can feel their presence when someone walks in the room? Just, maybe they have a very strong presence or they're bubbly. Like you kind of feel like when someone like that walks into the room, that's what that means. It's the type of energy, the type of person that they are. So oils operate in high frequencies and they help our bodies to match those energies. So when you experience emotion of joy, your body vibrates at a certain frequency. So there's that phrase, right? Good vibes only, is it a real thing? Well, some super smart people created the Joy Essential Blend, which is the one held there. It's one of my favorite blends. And they use plants and flowers that create oils that vibrate at the same frequency our body does when we experience joy. So think about that. The oils in this blend were used, created. Those plants that they used are at the same had the same frequency as your body has when you experience joy. So that's when they named these oils joy, for instance, so that you know what to grab when you're needing that, right? Maybe you're not feeling joy. Maybe you're very unjoyful at the moment. Well, now you know to grab that joy so that it can make your cells work back up to the frequency that it should be at. So there are different bundles that we have that help for emotional health. You can purchase whatever you want, but there's kits for it. So you have the Feelings Kit, which contains valor, harmony, forgiveness, inner child. Release is a super potent oil. If you haven't used it before, I would just suggest you use it at a time where you can just be a little bit chill, calm, maybe not around a ton of people. First time I smelled it, I actually cried because it really does release a lot of emotions. So just keep that in mind. Present time as well. And then there's Awaken is another oil. White Angelica is a huge oil. It says it protects against negative energies. What that means is when you have like a lot of those frequency that we're talking about, right? So if you're in around people that have those has a very negative energy, or frequency, you end up taking that frequency on yourself, right? If you're around people who are negative, you end up being negative, and that can become a huge weight on you. So using White Angelica helps protect against that so that your body, your brain, your amygdala doesn't drop to those negative frequencies. It's great for emotional health. And then there's the Gary's Good Day formula. Gary Young was the creator of Young Living. So he has these oils, Valor, Joy, Harmony, and White Angelica, and he has created it so that you place them on certain places on your body in a certain sequence, because remember, our organs, different places in our body store emotions. So he has you place these oils in that area that is going to be good to help release those emotions. These are some favorites from members that use oils for emotional support. Valor. Someone said that it calms big feelings, gets you through nervous moments. It aligns everything. Sacred Mountain is a fantastic one. You can apply it on the bottoms of your feet, on the top of your head. Australian Blue, an underrated one, lesser known emotional support, but super powerful. Frankincense, of course, is just, if you're needing anything to ground you, frankincense is the king of all oils. And this person mentioned that they like to apply it on their forehead, the shoulders, and to put vitality oil on the roof of their mouth or under your tongue. Even if you have head tension, sometimes that could be because of emotions. It's a great way. You just put a drop on your thumb, hold it onto the roof of your palate. Frankincense is a great thing to use for that. NLBS is Northern Lights Black Spruce. And that tells someone said it helps them bring them right down to earth while elevating their emotions. And then Release, which is the one I mentioned before, applied to the top of the head, shoulders, over your liver, or even on the shower floor. I haven't done that before, but this person does it on the shower floor, and that helps you process and release your emotions in a healthy way. I actually think the shower floor is genius because it's a spot where it's just you, right? And you can just release these emotions, the steam, everything. You can let everything out. It's a safe place to be. I think that that's a really genius place to use it. Abigail says, Valor and frankincense are my must-haves for my emotional support. Absolutely, I agree. So those are all the slides I have. So I hope this was educational for you. And if you've been using essential oils for a long time, maybe it helps give you a couple of ideas of how to use your essential oils. But does anybody have any questions regarding how it works or about any of the oils mentioned or anything like that? You're welcome, Ingrid. Liz actually, oh, thank you, Liz. Liz actually is an AFT practitioner. So she and Eva's also just got hers as well. So we have a lot of, I think there's about 4 or 5 now who are doing AFT on this team. And 6, wow, there's 6 now. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, wow, you're right. It's awesome. More have gotten their certification to do this, but I highly, highly recommend doing it. Liz is the first person that I did it with, and she just helped break through a wall for me that was absolutely life-changing. And I'm forever grateful to Liz for that. So I really, really recommend you doing that. And we can give you their information. Again, can you show some of the first slides again? Sure. Let's see. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop the recording. That way, because whoever gets to see this would have seen the slides and everything. But thank you so much for watching this if you're watching this later.